2.8 million births. That is how many Swedish birth records a research team went through to test the oldest sex prediction method on Earth. The Chinese lunar calendar came out right 50.2% of the time. A coin does that. 6 more signs are coming after this one, and 3 of them fail just as badly, but 3 hold up. And the last one on the list is not a trick at all. It is you. Start with the calendar because it is the one almost everyone has tried. The method is old, the chart is everywhere online, and the rules are simple. Your age when you conceived, the lunar month it happened in, and the chart tells you boy or girl. In 2010, Eduardo Villamor and his colleagues at the Karolinska Institute published their test of it in Pediatric and Perinatal Epidemiology. They did not use a small sample. They ran the calendar against nearly 3 million Swedish births, converting every conception date into the lunar calendar the method requires. The chart landed almost exactly on 50%. Not 55, not 60, 50, which is the number you would get by not looking at the chart at all. And they were generous about it. The traditional method does not run on the calendar hanging in your kitchen. It needs your lunar age, which can be a year or 2 off from the age on your driver's license, and the lunar month of conception, which drifts against the months you actually live in. Most of the versions floating around online skip that conversion entirely and quietly feed in the ordinary dates. The Karolinska team did the conversion properly, the way the method is supposed to be used. It still came out at a coin flip. Here is the thing about a 50% method though. It feels like it works, because half the people who use it are right and those are the ones who tell you about it. Nobody posts the chart that missed, so that is 1 down. The next one is different, because this one comes from a doctor's office, with a machine and a number you can actually hear. You have probably heard the rule. Above 140 beats per minute is a girl. Below is a boy. Some versions put the line at 150. It sounds medical because it comes wrapped in a real measurement. And the heartbeat is real, and the number on the monitor is real. The rule attached to it is not. David McKenna and his colleagues tested it directly and published the results in Fetal Diagnosis and Therapy in 2006. They looked at first trimester heart rates and compared them by sex. There was no meaningful difference. Boys and girls sat in the same range, and that range moves around for reasons that have nothing to do with sex, how far along you are, whether your baby is asleep or moving, what time of day the reading was taken. A baby who has just been kicking reads faster than a baby who has just settled. That is the pattern the monitor is actually showing you. It helps to know what the range is. A healthy fetal heart generally runs somewhere between about 110 and 160 beats a minute, and it does not sit still inside that window. It climbs during movement and drops during rest, over and over, all day, so the 140 line cuts straight through the middle of normal. Take 2 readings from the same baby an hour apart, and you can land on both sides of it. If a sonographer once glanced at a screen and told you the number meant something, they were repeating something they heard too. It is one of those pieces of folklore that got a lab coat put on it somewhere along the way, which brings up the sign that does not need any equipment at all. The one people call from across a room. Carrying high, carrying low. Round like a basketball, or wide like a watermelon. Somebody has almost certainly looked at you and announced what you are having, with real confidence, based on nothing but the outline of your body. In 1999, Deborah Perry, Janet DiPietro, and Kathleen Costigan decided to actually test this. Their paper, in the journal Birth, has one of the better titles in this field. They asked whether women carrying basketballs are really having boys. They followed just over 100 pregnancies, recorded belly shape, and checked it against what was born. There was no relationship, none. And the reason is a little freeing once you know it. The shape of your belly is mostly about you. The length of your torso, the tone of your abdominal muscles, whether this is your first pregnancy or your third, and where your baby happens to be lying that week. A second baby often sits lower simply because the muscles have done this before. That is not a message about who is in there. That is a body that has been through something. Hold on to that study, by the way. Perry and her team found something else in the same data, and it is the last thing on this list. Now, the one that comes with a spoon in your hand. Sweet means a girl, salty means a boy. Or the other way around, depending on who your aunt is. There is no research showing that the type of thing you crave says anything about sex, but there is something real sitting right next to it, and it is stranger than the folklore. In 2003, Rula Tamimi and colleagues published a study in the BMJ looking at how much pregnant women ate and comparing it to the sex of the baby. Women carrying boys took in around 10% more calories a day. Not a different kind of food, more of it. The researchers could not say for certain why, though the leading explanation is that male fetuses grow slightly faster on average, and the body responds to that demand. So the appetite is not nothing. It is just not the appetite anyone is asking about. Nobody ever says, "You must be having a boy, you have been hungrier." They say, "You must be having a boy, you wanted the pretzels." One of those has a number behind it. The next one is the first on this list where the folklore and the data finally shake hands. It is also the one that is hardest to talk about because it involves the worst weeks some women have, how sick you have been. In 1999, Johann Askling and colleagues at the Karolinska Institute published a letter in The Lancet. They had gone through the Swedish medical birth register and pulled out the women who had been hospitalized for severe vomiting in the first trimester. Not ordinary morning sickness, but the kind that puts someone on a drip. Those pregnancies were more likely to produce girls. The finding has been repeated since, and the leading explanation involves the hormone levels that come with a female pregnancy, which run higher on average. Two things have to be said clearly about this one. It is an association across an enormous group of people, not a reading of any individual pregnancy. Plenty of women are violently sick and have boys, plenty sail through and have girls, and it says nothing about how your pregnancy is going. Severe sickness is miserable, and it is treatable, and if you are in it, the person to talk to is your provider, not a chart. But if you have been unwell and someone told you that was a sign, they were not making it up entirely. That one has a registry behind it still. None of the 5 so far can tell you anything on the day you actually want to know. The 6th can, it just needs a screen. Around 12 weeks, before anything is obviously formed, every baby has a small bud between the legs. It looks the same in everyone at that stage. What differs is the angle it sits at relative to the spine, and by the end of the first trimester, that angle has started to sort itself in a way a trained eye can read. The convention sonographers use is a line drawn along the lower spine and a second line along that bud. If the two run roughly parallel, under about 30 degrees apart, the reading leans girl. If the bud is tipped up away from the spine, past 30 degrees, it leans boy. That is the whole method. It sounds almost too simple for something that ends up as accurate as it does, and the simplicity is exactly why it needs the right week and the right image, because a baby lying at an awkward angle makes both of those lines a guess. Zvi Efrat and colleagues at Rabin Medical Center published their work on this in Ultrasound in Obstetrics and Gynecology. What they found was not a yes or no answer, but a steep curve. At 11 weeks, reading the angle is barely better than guessing. At 13, in the hands of an experienced sonographer with a clear image, accuracy climbs to around 99%. So this one genuinely works, with 3 conditions attached: the right week, a good picture, and someone who has done it thousands of times. A screenshot from your phone, read at midnight in a group chat by people who mean well, does not meet any of the 3. That is not a small footnote. It is the whole difference between a method and a rumor, which leaves the last one. And it is not a sign at all in the way the others were. It is a question somebody probably asked you early on, and you answered before you had thought about it. What do you think it is? Go back to Perry, DePietro, and Costigan, the same study that took the basketball apart. They also asked every woman what she thought she was having, and why. Overall, the guesses ran close to chance, but when they looked at the women who had more than 12 years of education, something odd showed up. Those guesses were right 71% of the time. And the women who said their answer came from a feeling, or a dream, rather than from any of the folklore signs, they were right at about that same rate. Nobody has a clean explanation for that. It is one study, and it is not a large one, and it has never turned into a tool anyone uses. It might be picking up something real that has no name yet. It might be an accident in a small sample that a bigger study would wash away. Both are honest answers. But it is the only thing on this list that came from you rather than from a chart, and it outperformed almost everything else on it. So, 7 signs. The calendar is a coin. The heartbeat number is a myth in a lab coat. The shape of your belly is a message about your body, not your baby. The cravings say nothing, though the hunger says a little. Severe sickness leans one way across millions of records. The nub is genuinely accurate in the right hands at the right week. And the quiet guess you made before any of this had a number attached did better than most of them. There is nothing here for you to do. No test to run, no chart to check, no habit to start. In a few weeks, a screen or a birth is going to tell you, and it will be right, and every one of these signs will stop mattering the moment it does. Until then, you are allowed to keep guessing. Most people never find out whether their hunch was the 71% kind. You will. If this changed how you think about the things people tell you during pregnancy, consider subscribing. We release new videos every week on the hidden science of your baby's developing mind. And a quick like genuinely helps other parents find the channel. Thanks for being here.